What has claws like a velociraptor, legs of an MMA fighter, and a reputation as Australia's most dangerous bird? Nope, it's not a Lost Jurassic Park extra, it's the Southern Cassowary. Join me in learning about this prehistoric jungle bird and imagining what its Pokemon counterpart could look like. The Southern Cassowary is a giant flightless bird, also known by its scientific name of Casuarius casuarius. It is one of 3 living species of cassowary and related to other flightless birds like the emu, ostrich, and kiwi. This modern-day velociraptor can grow over 6 feet tall and weigh up to 70 kilograms. It flaunts a striking blue neck, red wattles, and a dino-inspired casque atop its head that's made of keratin, the same thing our fingernails are made of. The cassowary has thick, 3-toed feet that end up in dagger-like claws, which can grow up to 12 centimeters on the inner toe, not to mention its powerful legs that can pack quite the kick. You do not want to get into a fight with one of these birds. Southern cassowaries rule the dense tropical rainforests of Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and northeastern Australia. They prefer thick jungle vegetation and a steamy climate. These birds are solitary, territorial, and quite hot-tempered, rarely backing down from a threat and infamous for their lightning speed charges and karate kick attacks. There have even been attacks on humans, with 2 reported fatalities since 1900. Studies have found that these birds are more likely to attack if previously fed by humans. Cassowaries only come together in breeding season. Males build a nest on the ground using plant material and, all by themselves, incubate the 2 to 5 green eggs laid by the females, who immediately wander off and leave the males to raise the chicks as well. Cassowaries make deep, booming and rumbling noises and hiss when threatened. They actually produce some of the lowest frequency sounds of any bird. In terms of diet and predators, southern cassowaries forage on the forest floor for fallen fruit and seeds, and are even capable of safely digesting some that are toxic to other animals. They also eat fungi, insects, small vertebrates, and carrion. These birds play a vital role in their native ecosystems through eating fruit and dispersing the seeds through droppings. In fact, there are hundreds of species of plants that can only germinate after being passed through a cassowary's digestive system. And finally, they don't really have many predators, occasionally being preyed on by feral pigs and dogs. And now let's open up the Pokédex to see what the Southern Cassowary's Pokémon counterpart is like. Warriclaw is what I'm calling the cassowary's alter ego, using part of its real-life name, Wari, from cassowary, and the word warrior to highlight its fighting spirit. The latter part of its name emphasizes its distinctive and lethal claws. I've given Warriclaw a fighting and steel subtyping, fighting to show its wild aggression and karate-like moves, and steel to point to its metal helmet or casque, as well as its razor-sharp claws. This bird Pokemon is not for the faint of heart trainer. Warriclaw's Pokédex entry would read, armed with razor-sharp claws and a crushing kick, Warriclaw roams the jungle floor, challenging anything that enters its territory. It uses its tough steel casque to smash through obstacles and other Pokemon alike. And here's the intimidating Warriclaw in all its glory. Its red, more feathery crest is inspired by a Roman centurion helmet, reflecting its warrior-like fighting spirit. Complementing this is a steel casque that I picture it using to headbutt other birds of its kind. The blue and black color scheme of a cassowary is there, although the blue is emphasized a bit more, with more definition in the rear feathers. And look at those muscular legs and sharp claws, definitely inspired by a real-life cassowary. Warriclaw is a melee bruiser with a high attack stat for landing strong physical hits. It's also a sturdy bird with relatively high defense, given the cassowary's thick coat of feathers. I'm also giving it a generous speed stat. Cassowaries can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour. It's the 3rd fastest bird in the animal kingdom. What are some of the abilities that Warriclaw would have? I think one of them could be Intimidate. Wariclaw's fierce glare and powerful stance would make any foe shiver in fear during battle, lowering their attack stats. Battle Armor is another one. This ability would be used by Wariclaw to prevent critical hits by shielding itself with its thick feathers and steel casque. And finally, Reckless. This ability boosts the power of moves that cause recoil damage. I think it emphasizes Wariclaw's relentless charge and strike style of attack. In terms of some potential moves, I'm picturing lots of physical, fighting, and steel type attacks that pair well with Wariclaw's anatomy, especially ones that have recoil damage. Starting with Swords Dance, this raises the user's attack by 2 stages. Wariclaw would use this to hype itself up for dishing out maximum damage. Ironhead is another potential move. This is where Wariclaw bashes into the opponent with its reinforced steel casque. I'm picturing a bunch of Wariclaw using Ironhead against each other to battle for dominance in the wild. Metal Claw, where the user rakes the opponent with steel claws, potentially raising the user's attack stat. I had to include this as one of Wariclaw's signature moves, given their deadly claw blades. And finally, Close Combat, a high-risk, high-damage fighting type move to reflect the Cassowary's aggressive nature and kicking prowess. So what do you think? Does Wariclaw belong in your Pokédex? Would you challenge it or steer clear of the tall grass altogether? Let me know in the comments. And if you're loving these creature to Pokemon crossovers, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss who's up next on CreatureDex. Stay wild and see you next time.